Hey, finance friend! If you've been laid off or are afraid about being laid off, this video is for you. Today, we're going to dive into what I call Act Number 1, which is Severance and the WARN Act. Let's dive in. As someone who's been laid off, I understand the feels. Being scared, anxious, and wondering what to do next. And this video is to help you realize how you can maximize your layoff. Let's start. Number 1, Severance. It is not just a TV show, guys. It is a tool that you could be using to get some extra coin even during this very challenging situation. What is severance? Severance is the amount of money that your employer could potentially pay you even though they are laying you off. It is rarely required by law for them to give you this amount of money, but it's almost always negotiable. So it's something I never try to leave on the table because you know what makes a layoff feel better? Having more money. So tip number 1 from Allie when thinking about severance: do not take the first value they give you. Negotiate here. This is when you need to reflect on a few things. Even if you get a couple more dollars from this conversation, that's still more money than you started with. 3 things that I always try to negotiate for severance. 1, we are going to talk about how many years of service I gave to this company. 2, we're going to think about how long it's going to take us to find another job. And 3, we're going to talk about maybe our particular contribution to the company, which may be part of your personal situation. Remember, even if you get a couple more dollars from this conversation, that's still more money than you started with. Talk about a second really great tool to leverage when you think about layoffs. It is called the WARN Act, the Workers' Adjustment and Retaining Notification Act. And that's just a fancy way to say it's a law. It's to notify people when they're going to lay off a certain amount of employees. So this usually impacts organizations that have at least 100 or more employees. And depending on the state you live in, they are required to give a notice to you, usually from anywhere from 30 to 60 days. And then they may even be required to provide severance. So this is when you have to really look at what we call your mini WARN Acts, or the ones pertaining to your particular state, because you could really get some huge wins just by knowing this exists. Like, especially if you're in a state that legally requires a severance, take advantage. So I understand negotiating for severance can seem kind of scary, but remember, you're not going to be with this employer anymore and you want to secure your bag. So you want to make a list of non-negotiables along with knowing your current mini WARN laws to bring to the table. See if they will cover your COBRA payments, so that way you still are covered even while you're looking for new employment. This is especially important if you take routine medications or prescriptions that can cost a lot when they're not covered by insurance. Any unused PTO. This varies by state, but if you have any unused PTO, see if you can get that credited to your amount so you're still paid out on it. Placement services. And this is just a fancy way of them offering a free service for you to help look for a new job. And this can be really helpful depending on how challenging your industry is. Whenever I experience a layoff, the golden rule to myself is never sign on the spot. I know this may sound counterintuitive and scary, but this is where you seal the deal. Read every single line at home and maybe even get some legal insight or perspective on the document before you sign the dotted line. Remember, this is a negotiation and it goes both ways. They want you to sign and you want to secure your bag. So don't let them take that away from you just because you feel rushed. You have to care about yourself. So as a recap, looking into your local WARN Act and negotiating your severance can really have a large return, even as you go through this very challenging situation. I understand being laid off is really scary, but you lose every opportunity you don't take to try to get the most amount of money from this situation. If you're someone like me who has a chronic condition, my focus is for healthcare coverage. Focus on your needs and your values. You'll get through this, and I believe in you. See you later, friend. Bye.